Hello and welcome back, and it's the start of February, and these are all the seeds that I could actually sow if I wanted to. So let's go through what I can actually sow and what I am going to sow. I've got my chart, I've got all the seeds that I can sow. I just need to sort of clear out a bit of a space here because these all need to go out. Right, before I actually go through all the seeds that I can actually sow, let's go through the generic spreadsheet. This has got on it the germination time, temperature required, how long it takes to harvest, spacing, and also the height. Now actually on my own seeds I've also got the depth, and that'll be coming up later on. So let's go through this. What can we sow? So we've got aubergines, broad beans, beetroot, broccoli calabrese, Brussels sprouts, cabbage spring, cabbage summer autumn, cauliflowers, celery, cucumbers, garlic, which is probably the last month for garlic, kohlrabi, melon, kale, lettuce, leeks. It's a long list. Onions globe over winter, spring onions, chilies, sweet peppers, radishes and tomatoes. Right, so there's a lot of options there, and it's really exciting to start sowing again. Now, like I say, all these need to go out. I've also got a lot down there as well. But what I want to show you is the broccoli leaf. Now, even though I use all these lists and spreadsheets, this is one that I've actually sown out of season, and that is just to see how it does. It's a nice little ladybird on there as well. So that's one I'm really looking forward to planting out next week. Like I say, all these will be going out. There's chard, spinaches, mustard wasabina. There's I think this one's Oscar mustards. But let me show you this one as well. Now these are all my rat-tail radishes, and look at that for a pretty flower. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these do. Again, this is another one I've actually done out of season, and this is the thing you can actually do, is just give it a go and see what happens. You know, these have survived, you know, around about -9, -10 temperatures, so I'm really pleased with how they've done. And it'd be really nice next week to start planting these out. Right, I got myself organised, but one thing I've forgotten to mention that's not on my generic list is potatoes. So roughly around about the end of February, you can do the first earlies then. Right, so onto this my seeds. So I've got, what have I got first? I've got broad beans, bolt hardy, beetroot, broccoli, summer and green sprouting. Right, so broad beans, these are the bunyards. Now, I'm not going to do those this year. Last year I had rust on the broad beans, so I'm giving it a rest for this year. So I won't be sowing those. But bolt hardy, I will be starting those roughly mid-February, just to give myself a start. So this is my system. I've got this half of the basket for just a reminder, anything I want to really heavily sow just to get baby leaves I put on this side, and on this side these are the ones that I need to sow for this month, February. Thankfully I've sown everything I needed to in January, and this is one of the things, is doing this system. If this still got some in for March, it's not the end of the world. You can see on the beetroot, what have we got? We've got February right the way through to July, so there's plenty of time for sowing. So that's what I'm going to do, is not put any pressure on myself. Right, broccoli, green sprouting and summer purple sprouting. Both of them are summer broccolis, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those into here. I'm not going to do any major brassicas at the first half of this year, because I got cabbage root fly on everything, and it just destroyed everything. It wasn't worth actually doing it. So what I'm going to do with the brassicas is just heavily sow those, and I'm just going to get them for the baby leaf, a bit bigger than the microgreens. Right, so this video is going to have quite a few cuts. The neighbours are grinding away, so I've just got to stop it as soon as that happens. So bolt hardy, that's one thing I forgot to mention on there, is bolt hardy seems to be the only one, or that's the only one I've found in the beetroots that can be sown in February. The rest are normally in March. Right, cabbage is next, and that's red acre and green acre. Now both of those, again, I'm not going to sow this time. I'm just going to put them in there, and again I'm going to use them heavily sown just for the baby leaves. The cabbage root fly just destroyed everything for me, so I know it's probably in the actual soil at the moment. So what I'm going to do with anything like the brassicas is mostly going to be summer sowings, except for the Brussels sprouts next month, because we really enjoyed those. Now one cabbage, the Chinese cabbage, this has been, well, I said in a video last year, was the unsung hero, and it has been. So I know it's not the season to actually start sowing them, but what I'm going to do is sow them heavily so I can start putting them in between any of the seedlings, because that's what I did last year. And anything that the slugs nibbled on last year was just the Chinese cabbage. It's like a catnip to them. They just seem to be attracted to this. So I'm going to do quite a bit of those, probably about a full tray each month at least. So they can be put in here. I'm not going to get any. They're just literally going to go into around anything that needs protection from the slugs. Yeah, that worked wonders for me last year. So cauliflower, again, because of the cabbage root fly, I'm going to hold off on that. I've got a long time to go on those, right the way through to July, and that's what I'm going to do, is probably a July sowing for those. And then I've got cutting celery. Now I don't know about celery, I've just got cutting celery, which is like a baby leaf celery, and that survived in the beds right through winter. And the only thing that's actually nibbled on it has been the pigeons, but it's even come back as well. So I'll do another couple of pots of those, just in the 9cm pots. So next up is cucumbers, which I just buy the plants in. So we'll move swiftly on to the kohlrabi. Now doing this, I've actually realised I haven't got the purple variety of that, and that's the one I'm going to sow early. I've also got the giant enormous kohlrabi. Again, we really like that, but the difference is the purple one is round about that width with the leaves. The giant one probably gets to around about this width. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to do a late sowing of that. So similar to the cauliflower, they'll be going in, or start sowing those around about June and July. Right, what's next? We're on to the lettuces. So what have we got lettuce wise? I've got Winter Density, Elsia, Grenoble Red, Valdor and Maureen Little Gem. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to do the Winter Density just yet, but what I will do is the Elsia, the Valdor and the Maureen. Now I know the Grenoble Red is probably just out of season. It's saying, yeah, February, so I may actually do a couple of those as well. Right, what's next? Well, we've got leeks and mustards. So I've got two leeks. You'll be able to see what that one is on the screen below, and Hannibal. That's an early version, that's a later version. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off with the leeks probably till March. This year I did them really early, well last year I did them really early, and it hasn't really worked. So what I'm going to do is just hold off on those. And then we got mustards. Well, as you can see, I've got plenty of mustards. This mustard was a beaner. We really enjoyed that. That's a real spicy one. But whereas the southern, that's quite a nice, delicate lettuce type version. It's got a little bit of heat, but not that much. So that's one I'll certainly be sowing. If I didn't have all these, that's one I'd definitely be sowing now. Done the mustard was a beaner, And it's the same for the Oscar. I've actually lost the packet for that. Here's the Oscar. It's got a really nice purple leaf, and I'm hoping that really bushes out. So I'm looking forward to this as well. This is more like a spinach stroke lettuce leaf. And like I said, they've done really well. Let me just show you this one. You know, you can get real nice sized leaves. It's not the ideal one. Let me just take that off. That's not the ideal one, but that's ready to go out. As you can see, the roots are just showing on that. So that'll be next week. The rest of all these are going out, but that's a lovely leaf to go in as a lettuce leaf or spinach leaf. Right, so next up is, what we got next is the onions. So I sowed all my onions last month, or about a week ago. So it's still technically last month. So I've got long red Florence, which is a shallot, the Bedfordshire Champion, red Aposta, and White Star. Now the only one I'm going to be resowing throughout these next couple of months is this White Star. This is a large salad onion, a white onion. And I've got around about another 450 seeds left. So that's going to go in there I'm probably going to do those again in the 9cm pots, just to get a more succession growing with those, and they are going to get stuck anywhere in any of the empty spaces in the beds. I'm really looking forward to those. And then you've got the spring onions, but I've got Lisbon, white Lisbon, ramrod, and I did have the North Holland blood red somewhere, which I've lost the packet for, but I will be doing a few sowings of that. Probably not this month, more next month. As the soil starts to heat up a bit more, hopefully I can start them off in the actual greenhouse. So I'm just going to hold off on those. So parsnips is next. Now I haven't got any seeds for that. It all failed for me last year. So what I'm going to do is I'm just hopefully going to get fresh seed in the next 1 or 2 weeks coming up. I've done True or Tender and True, and I've done Gladiator before. So what varieties are you going to do? What would you recommend? Because I'm open to suggestions. At the moment I'm looking at probably Tender and True, but I'm just going to see what's available in seed. And then we go on to peas. There's a lot of peas you can start. Alderman, Provence, the Feltham First Early, which is a dwarf one, and then you go on to the Monge 2, the Beiju. So Alderman, I haven't got the space now to do that because that gets to 7 to 8 foot. So I'm going to leave that. I mean, that's all save seed, so I don't know how viable that is, and I may start using that just as pea shoots, and maybe even put it into there. Provence, I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to hold off on most of the peas, even the Monge 2 Beiju. I'm going to hold off till March for both of those. Now I did do the Feltham Early last year, and that took a long time to come up, and it is a dwarf plant. And what I'm going to do this year is I am going to sow some of that, but I'm going to do it in pots. So we'll see how we go with that. I'm not too worried if I don't do that one early. And the last two, like I said, is the potatoes. So the first early potatoes is normally around the end of February. Again, I've not even bought any potatoes yet. So I'm going to do that probably over the weekend. It's quite nice to start seeing people discuss all the potatoes, because there's so many varieties and so much choice that I don't yet know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to see what's available. But potatoes, now if you'd asked me probably a couple of months ago, would I be doing potatoes? I may not have done potatoes this year, but we've discovered tatty scones and smashed potatoes. We're really enjoying our potatoes, so that's going to be high up on our list now. I may even do a first early for the first time this year. Definitely secondaries and the main crops, and yeah, we're really enjoying the tatty scones. We do it with what do we do with rosemary and sage. So they're two things, two herbs. Now, I've got sage, but I haven't got any rosemary in the garden. That's what we're going to be looking at as well on the herbs. Right, and the last one is radish winter. Now this one is going to be my fill-in crop around the beds. What have we got? We've got a 4-month window, February right the way through to May. Now I've got 3,000 seeds, so I'm definitely going to be sowing that around the beds, and they're pretty good on their germination as well. So we'll see what we get with those, and they get to around about that size. So hopefully I can use those as fermented, but we'll see how we go with that. Right, and last on my list is flowers. Now we're definitely going to be doing the Amy. That's one that I've got saved seed. We did that a couple of years ago. We've got plenty of saved seed. So I'm going to do quite a few multi-sowing in a 9cm pot. Because I've always done it or I've always separated them out and I only got one single stem. So I'm going to give it a go, multi-sowing in the 9cm pots. So if you do, Amy, if you could let us know whether you do it, you separate the plants out, or you do it as a multi-sowing. And what else we got? Sweet peas. I'm going to look up when I did them last year. You can start sweet peas from January right the way through to May. Now these are the Eagle sweet peas, and they were fantastic last year for us. We really enjoyed them. So I'm going to put them in the basket for this month, but I'm going to see. I'm not going to be too worried if I do them in February or in March. And this is another packet which is not on my list, the asters. I've just found this packet. I got this at Melvin, and that's saying February to April, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try those. That's a Duchess apricot. I've got no idea what it looks like. It was just on a whim when I was at a Melvin. And I'm also going to look at straw flowers. I don't know what varieties I'm going to look at. So again, any suggestions on the straw flowers? It's the first time I'm going to actually grow those, so we'll see what we do with those. Right, so I can say this is a real good useful tool for me. And it's getting me quite organised. You know, I've got all these to go out, and hopefully then I'm going to have a whole load more to start growing in here. Right, so that'll be actually coming up later on. So like I always say, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's been useful seeing these spreadsheets, and I hope to see you again when I start planting out all of these.